Oh hey, we're Cairn Leadership.
And we're here to talk about maps and compasses today.
Here we are scoping out the Executive Crux Adventure in the Sierra Nevadas.
Wilderness navigation boils down to 4 scenarios. In the first, you don't know where you are and you can't see. So what do? Find a place and pitch a tent.
All right, the simplest situation is a beautiful clear day. You know where you are, you can see, and you can see where you want to go. So here I want to go to the corner. I'm just going to walk. A quick note about the compass here is declination. We'd love to talk more about it, but we're not going to take the time right now. Basically on your map is going to tell you exactly what you need to set it to. In this case, it is 13 degrees east. And so get a compass that you can adjust. It's going to make your life so much easier. I can just use this little dial in 13 degrees east. Now I don't have to think about it. Stay tuned for another video to get geeking out on declination. Say situation where I can kind of see and I kind of know where I am, and maybe there are clouds rolling in and I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that declination in my compass, and then I'm going to get my map and I'm going to do what's called orienting the map. And the map is going to have, it's always going to be, the edge of the map is going to be pointing north, and I want to make sure that my compass and my map are aligned, both pointing north, because if they're not, I don't really have any way to know what I'm looking at. So right now, if this thing is flipped around, I might think these two trees are trees over here, but they're really not, because it should be this way. So to orient my map, I'm just going to turn north to the top. I don't have to worry about declination because I already set it in the compass. I'm going to line the edge of the compass up with my map, and I'm going to turn the map and compass until my needle, the red needle, goes into the housing. Red Fred in the shed. Now you can look right here. I should see a light if I point that way. And if you look over there, there are some light posts. That makes sense. If you look back at the map, I can see there's a corner in the roads, and I look that way, there's a corner in the road. So I have a pretty good idea of where I am. I bet if I look this way, there will be a playground. And sure enough, on the map, there's a playground. I believe I'm right about here. And I know that I have a good idea that I'm right here. I can see the trees in front of me. I can see the corner. This obviously is a little contrived, but if we're in the wilderness, we'd be looking at lakes and mountaintops and cliffs and other things that we could distinguish through the topography on the map. Now say there are some clouds, like the simplest situation is I can see where I'm going and I know where I am. I can just walk there, right? Like keep my map and compass ready. But maybe there are clouds rolling in. Maybe I can't quite see where I'm going. What I can do is just take this compass and point it exactly where I want to go, which is to that corner of the streets, and then turn the bezel until the needle, again, is Red Fred in the shed. You'll hear that a bunch. Doesn't even really matter what the bearing is. All I'm going to do is keep it right there, keep the compass nice and level and right in front of my chest, and then I'm going to walk, and as I walk, I'm going to keep that needle in. And I can not even look up and just keep the needle in. And it's going to take me in the right direction. So how is this useful? If the clouds roll in, I kind of know which way to go. I already have it dialed on my compass. I can just look down, get it here, and start walking, and know that I'm going to go in generally the right direction. Say I can see it's a beautiful day, but I really have no clue where I am. Maybe we got off trail last night. We pitched our tent because we couldn't see and didn't know where we were. And now we're waking up and we can see around us. We can see a street corner. We can see a lamp post. We can see a playground. And we're like, I wonder where we are. What we can do is what's called triangulation. So all I'm going to do, first step, always orient the map. I'm going to come down here, line it up on the edge, and then I'm just going to shoot a bearing. I'm going to point the compass to the street corner there, and I'm going to twist the bezel until the needle's in there. Now I have my bearing on my compass, and I can come, lay the compass on the map, get the red Fred in the shed, and then I can use a pencil to draw a line. Now I know I'm somewhere on this line, but I'm not sure where. So I can pick another point and maybe shoot a bearing to that light post that I see down the way, pointing the compass to the light post, twisting the bezel until red Fred is in the shed. There we go. And again, I put the edge of the compass on my light post and start drawing my line. Now I'm pretty sure I'm on these two lines, but maybe my bearings might not be super accurate. Maybe there's a bubble in my compass, which is making it tough. Maybe it's hard to get a good bearing. The top of the mountain isn't exactly perfect and pointy. So what I can do is get a third bearing. I can see my playground here, pointing my compass arrows right at the playground, twisting until red Fred is in the shed. And having red Fred in the shed, now I can walk around, I can move the compass, and then I can just put red Fred back in the shed, and the compass is going to point right to the playground. So that's perfect. I'm going to line it up on the playground. Here we go. And draw my line. And now I have a little triangle here that's going to give me a pretty good estimation of where I am.
So navigating outside isn't rocket science, but there's a few things you can know that are really going to help you out. So say that you are right here on a map and you are looking to get right here. There's a great rock climbing spot, and this is where you're headed. So you know that there's a lake on your right, and from the topography we know that there's a ridge over on your left. So these both are funneling features, because you know that as you're walking, if your feet get wet, you've gone too far to the left, you've gone too far to the right. And if you keep walking and you start to find yourself going uphill, you've gone too far over to the left. So you don't have to know exactly which bearing or direction you're going. Because of these funneling features, you'll end up going this way. But say you started first to go too far and you find yourself all of a sudden at this trail. This is what's called a limiting feature. This boundary will tell you that you've gone too far. You need to revert back and find your spot to go rock climbing so you can have yourself a fun day on a tall peak.
Let's talk topography. Imagine if this were a bathtub with some mountains in it and they were covered by water and we were super dirty and we started to let the water out. You start to get little rings where the mountaintops were. And as the water went out, the rings would keep showing up. Just like this. This is what we call a topographic map. And you can see some of these rings going down. You might have two peaks here and a saddle between them, and there could be a stream going down. And then here you might have a big peak with ridges. Let's go check out what it looks like in the sand. So you can see our topographical representation of the mountains and the ridge here, and we're just going to build it real quick in the sand so you can get a different way of imagining how this works. So you can see these two hills, one here and one here, looking right here and right here. We talked about the ravine with these V's pointing uphill. Here's a ravine for you that goes by the side of this mountain. And then we talked about a long ridge that would be super fun to climb up. Here's a long ridge leading to the mountain with some rock climbing on top.
Every map is a little different. So when you first get your map, you want to take a look at the legend here and find your scale to see how big the features are. You want to take a look at the declination and set your compass to that. And you also want to see the contour interval and make sure you note that in your calculations. You'll also see on this map there's leave no trace principles, which will help you make good decisions about how you can take care of the places that you want to go for years to come.